this video, I'm going to talk about the Platinum Seaweed Stand. I'm going to talk about the original sale details, the new official sale details. I'm going to talk about the utility, the use case, and also share my thoughts on this NFT. So the Platinum Seaweed Stand was originally supposed to go on store on April 10th, 2023 at 1 p.m. Central Time, but it was delayed due to some negative community sentiment. I'm not going to go too much into that topic, but essentially people were upset that this NFT was going to be released so soon after the new fishing content, and basically they were worried that anybody who owned this NFT would basically be able to compete much better than anybody who didn't own it. There was other reasons on top of that, but that was one of the main reasons. So the Platinum Seaweed Stand will be going back in store on April 12th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Central Time. So it's different time than you're used to. Make sure you check out our announcements in the Gala Games Discord to verify what time that is in your time zone. So Platinum Seaweed Stand will be going in Gala Games Store, and there's going to be a supply of 300. Price is going to be $400 for the first 48 hours. That's 20% off, so it's going to be $500 after that. Purchasable in town, Gala, or with credit card with a purchase limit of 3 per transaction. So what the Seaweed Stand does is it gives up to 5 passive seaweed in a range, just like they have in this example, what we're used to. And it has no road requirements in order to place. And right here, essentially, it just tells you that seaweed is very helpful for shrimp farms and fish chum. Shrimp farms require 2 seaweed and fish chum requires 1 seaweed and 2 shrimp in order to craft. So that was the utility. I'm going to try to go more into the use case now. The Seaweed Stand is actually very powerful. It can easily save you up to 15 spots from having seaweed farms. And that's on green timers, so if you usually run red timer seaweed farms, it would save you so much more space. And it saves you about up to 15 spots from having seaweed farmers to actually go collect the seaweed. In a good end build, you won't need any seaweed farms, you won't need any seaweed farmers. So yeah, easily save up to 30 spots with a good setup, maybe more. You won't even need an ocean for the passive salty, since you likely won't even need to make seaweed in the end. You'll still need to make seaweed to get some, to get some of the seaweed required to actually build the shrimp ponds. Those require 10 seaweed each. So it seems like seaweed will only be used for fishing related content at the moment, but they could always add more into the game that would require seaweed or require stuff that uses seaweed, like shrimp or fish chum. So one great thing that can be done with this NFT that I actually didn't realize this at first, but now I've done the math and I do think it's viable, is Shrimp Rush. Now Shrimp Rush can make you a lot of money, but it requires a lot of NFTs to actually be viable. At the moment, you need the Epic Master Wizard NFT and enough Christmas NFTs to have enough gold to create an Ice Rush. The Ice Rush will allow you to start crafting ice blocks very early in the game. You can generate money with that, but also ice blocks are required in order to build a seafood warehouse. That's why that is important. So they may possibly sell something like a seafood warehouse NFT in the future. I wouldn't be surprised. If they do that, you actually wouldn't even need the Ice Rush. So just keep that in mind. So you're still going to need to make seaweed farms in order to get the seaweed to build up the shrimp farms. So the shrimp farms require 10 seaweed and 20 water in order to build. They can be very time consuming and expensive. So the Seaweed Stand is going to help you out with 5 seaweed in that case, but you're still going to need 5 seaweed to build it. So with 1 Seaweed Stand, yes, you could do a Shrimp Rush. It's going to take time to set up. Still going to need seaweed farms, still going to need seaweed farmers. So you have to deal with all that. But it is doable after some time, after getting it set up. It's going to take a couple hours in my opinion. But after you get it set up, you could have a bunch of shrimp ponds next to it and create enough shrimp to make almost say 10 million profit per hour. That's a lot of money. And shrimp actually doesn't sell for a lot. Shrimp sells for 1,800 each. It actually sells for less than flour, which flour normally sells for 2,000 each. But the thing is, shrimp can be easy to craft, so you actually produce it faster than you produce flour. And it's not a situation with like windmills where you need to space them apart or put a bunch of them together and there'll be red timer. No, shrimp ponds will be green timer. You just need somebody to actually go and pick up the shrimp, so that's why you got your aquaculturist to do that. But if you can manage to put 50 shrimp ponds next to a stand and have full passive seaweed, so they're just constantly crafting shrimp, and you have enough aquaculturists to pick them up and enough seafood warehouses nearby to store the shrimp in, you can easily craft a bunch of shrimp and sell it in boatloads that way. Like, you'd probably need a freight pier to actually sell in batches of 100, and that would give you a lot of money. But yeah, it does take time. So in my opinion, in order for this rush to be very good, amazing rush, which it can be done, but here's what I thought about. In order for this strategy to truly work, you would need to have at least 2 seaweed stands. Well, yeah, just 2 seaweed stands would do it. And the reason I say that is because the shrimp ponds require 10 seaweed, so you could just have 2 seaweed stands next to each other every time you build a shrimp pond, and that would supply with the 10 seaweed you need. So if you manage to do that, you're not even going to need to make any seaweed farms, since you don't need extra seaweed, and you won't need to build any seaweed farmers to actually go and pick them up. So in addition, now that you got 2 seaweed stands, you would have a greater range to cover, so you'd be able to make more shrimp ponds and gather more shrimp. Of course, you'll need to build more aquaculturists, but as you gather the money, you'll be doing that anyways. So after setting up the entire shrimp rush with 2 seaweed stands, you could get a setup where you're making 20 million cash per hour in profit. So that's after paying your wages, which is insane. That's a lot of money. But like I said, this takes time. Having the 2 seaweed stands helps out with the shrimp ponds. You're still going to need a way to deal with 20 water. So you're going to need a bunch of wells or wind palms and a bunch of builders or whatever you have to water them. Now, there is a way to actually help you out with that, and that's using passive water NFTs such as water towers or fountains. If you have enough water towers or fountains, you could even supply all 20 passive water to each and every shrimp pond. And yeah, that's a lot of passive water. The best way I thought about doing that is 4 epic water towers, which I'm not sure how many people own 4 epic water towers, or say 3 legendary water towers and then just something else that gives you 2 passive water. If you somehow manage to find a way to get 20 passive water in addition to the 10 passive seaweed from the 2 seaweed stand, you'd be able to make these shrimp ponds very, very quickly, and that's going to help so much with getting the shrimp rush actually set up. It's going to save a lot of time. So if you can manage to do that, you can get this shrimp rush done very quickly, and it's going to generate a lot of cash. I'm sure you get the idea by now, and I'm actually going to share, I do have a image I shared on the Discord a couple days ago, so I'm going to find that. So this is a design I created the other day and shared in the Discord. Just pretend that these 2 legendary weed stands are the seaweed stands, the Platinum Seaweed Stands. So you're going to get enough seaweed to cover this entire range of shrimp ponds, and you just place down as many aquaculturists as you can on the side. And in this example, I have 6 seafood warehouses in order to store the shrimp in quickly. And you're going to want a gas setup, so you're going to want a way to craft gas very quickly in order to sell in batches of 100 using a freight pier. Now, the freight pier would require an ocean or a river in order to actually use. If you don't use a freight pier, I don't think you'll be able to sell shrimp fast enough for this rush. So unfortunately, that's one of the things. It's one of the negatives about this rush idea. You do need to sell in high quantities. And you would also need an ice rush, at least at the beginning. You don't have to keep running it, but if you own an ice rush, you're gonna run it anyways while you're running any other rush. So that's the ice rush setup right here. So yeah, and in order to instantly build these shrimp ponds, you would want the 2 seaweed stands and some way to passively supply with 20 water, so that would just instantly build it. You won't need any builder taking resources, taking items to it in order to build it. So yeah, this idea is insane. Does it work? I have no clue. It's just speculative design. Like, I'm sure somebody's eventually gonna test it out. So yeah, hopefully that's interesting, or it helps anybody out. So last couple of things I'm gonna talk about. Do I think the NFT is worth it? Like, in terms of utility, for $400, it's understandable. Like, yeah, that's crazy that I'm saying that, but like, you gotta keep in mind that it's gonna save you like 30 spaces, and it's even usable for rushes outside of meta that requires seaweed or shrimp. So yeah, you gotta keep that in mind. So for 400 bucks, understandable. Pricey. I mean, if it was 300 bucks, this would fly off the shelves if it isn't going to already. But for 400 bucks, it's understandable why they would want to price it that way. So do I think it'll sell out? Due to the hype and utility for this NFT and the May Mayhem coming up pretty soon, I actually believe that this NFT will sell out within an hour. It seems like there's a good couple of people that want to buy this NFT. Some of them already are planning on buying 2 of them. So hey, if this doesn't sell out in an hour, I think it definitely will sell out within the first 48 hours. But apparently people seem to be saying this won't even last a couple minutes. I don't know if that's true. I'm skeptical. But at the moment, I do believe it could sell out within the first hour. So that's my thought right there. So what do I think it'll go on in the secondary markets? So just speculating right here. I'm not a financial advisor, just speculating on this. So I would speculate that this NFT would probably resell for about the same price it's selling in the Gala Game Store, for about $400. There does happen to be enough hype or FOMO for this NFT, enough demand for it. I see it possibly reselling for $500, but since there's like 300 in quantity, I don't think there's going to be like a large gap in pricing, since so many people are going to have it. If the NFT doesn't gain popularity, I really don't see it going for less than $300, since anybody who bought one who actually plays the game, I don't think they're actually going to resell it for less than $400. So that's just due to the utility and the fact that you could pull off a shrimp rush in any build by using it. And finally, am I thinking of picking one up? At the moment, yes, I am thinking of possibly picking 2 of them up. Now, I don't actually know if I'm going to keep them. Probably not. Some people may call me a flipper on that. But like, I see the possibility of I can buy 2 of them, use them for a while, possibly even during May Mayhem, I don't know. But yeah, I could buy 2 of them and resell them for about the same price I bought them at. Very possible. Might not work, but that's what I'm leaning towards. So at the moment, I am considering and actually buying 2 of them. Not guaranteed, even as I'm recording this, but most likely considering to buy 2, even if it means I'll sell them later. So that's my take on that. Take that info however you wish. And really, that's all I have to talk about for this NFT and the sale. So hopefully that information helped you out in some way. Make sure to do your own research and make your own informed decision. And if you like this video, consider leaving a like, leave a comment on what you think about this NFT. Should they have brought it back? Is it too overpowered? Are you getting one? Whatever you want to talk about, just feel free to leave a comment. And consider subscribing if you haven't done so. I usually do reviews on the upcoming NFTs for Townstar if people really want me to. It just depends, or if I have time. And yeah, that's all I got. So I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching.